call my name.
Speak, mother.
I was sitting here contemplating as to whether or not I would say anything because I just so enjoyed hearing all of you speak. But the choir did so much for me. It first of all, it connected me to people, so many different people from so many different backgrounds, even different majors.
Yes.
Yes. My dearest and closest friends came from this choir. But more than that, the choir helped me to develop as a person. It helped me to develop to someone that I began to be confident in myself. I always had the ability to sing, had the ability to write, but I never wrote any music when I was growing up. Even though I played classical music and played in my dad's church, my grandfather was the pastor. I come from a line of pastors. My aunts are all preachers, they were all preachers, and my cousins, just a line of preachers. And when I came to Howard, I was thrown into an environment that I wasn't used to. I wasn't used to an environment where everything went. It was okay for anything, everything that you did. And across the hall from me was Linda Brevard.
Oh, no.
And there's that girl.
Not to say no more now.
No. But I was surrounded by people who were just so different from me. But in knowing Linda, I really grew to love her. I learned to accept people for who they were. I didn't expect them to be like me. I didn't expect them to come from the same background as me. There's no way certain of us could have been friends. If we didn't just accept each other for who we were. So when I talk about the Howard Gospel Choir, I always talk about how it was a family that accepted you for who you were. It didn't matter what you did, it didn't matter what you didn't do, it didn't matter what your personality was like, it didn't matter if you were a nice person or a nasty person. We told you off and then kept on running. It was just so wonderful to be in an environment that wasn't condemning. I grew up in a very condemning environment, very judgmental. And I hated that about my church. So when I came to Howard, I was able to be with people who didn't judge you and accepted you for who you were and didn't condemn you about anything. It didn't matter what you did. We didn't condemn you. If you were drunk, we just helped you get home. That's what we did. There was no condemnation. There was no condemnation. And I just you don't even call names. It was just, and when we did call names, we were just playing. We weren't trying to hurt anybody, and nobody. We were really playing.
Should I turn this off now?
When you count stories, there's no condemnation.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of the gospel.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to stand up for this. The gospel and the life of Jesus Christ did not condemn you. You met the woman at the well. You didn't condemn her for all the money. That would change your whole life. And that's where we were in the Howard Gospel Choir. They brought us, that organization brought us the gospel of Jesus Christ. How you can say this was not a Christian organization. The name of the group was the Howard Gospel Choir. Gospel means sharing the good news. What is the good news? Jesus loves you no matter who you are, what you've done, what your background is, where you come from. Jesus loves you. And he accepts you for who you are. Just as I am. Without one plea. I felt like I was in heaven. When I was with the Celestials, I felt like I was in heaven. Because Richard, Leslie, and Sully were three of the best people that I knew. I mean, the stuff that they talked about was just off. You know, but there was no condemnation. But there was just so much love. The love. And that's the true message of the gospel. The love outweighs everything. And so for me, it was so revitalizing and refreshing to be around people like that. And I loved every moment that I was at Howard. And if I could go back to any part of my life, I would really want to go back to that time. And I could laugh and not be condemned. Because in the Kojic church or in Mount Sinai church, you was laughing, you were ungodly, you were just, it was just so much ridiculousness. You know, but I'm a person that enjoys laughing. You know, I like to laugh. God created laughter. It makes me feel better when I laugh. You know, it makes me feel better. So
Rob,
I just absolutely love.
Rob, you really felt good because we laughed all the time.
All the time.
Remember you pulling me out of church, me pulling you out of church like this one time, and that's hard.
Yes, we laugh at anything, everything. And in classes, Richard and I would get in trouble for laughing. I mean, it was just a wonderful time. It was a wonderful experience for me in my life. And I have never, ever, ever forgotten it. I've never, ever forgotten any of you. As so many of you have already said, I love all of you so much. You just have no idea of the impact that you have. I'm getting a little misty. The impact that you know, I get old, I get like sentimental. You know, this is what I have to do. This is why I say no condemnation. But I just, in all sincerity, you guys are just the best. And I'm so glad that I came to Howard when I did. So glad I came to Howard. Yeah, it was just a perfect timing for my life. And the thing about it is, I've never intended on coming to Howard University. When I was applying to colleges, my brother was an Ivy League guy, and he wanted me to go to an Ivy League school. But he was the one that said, well, put Howard on there in case you don't get accepted anyplace else. And because he was so pushing me into the Ivy League world. You know, but it was not God's will for me to do that. It was God's will for me to come to Howard. And that's how I ended up at Howard. And boy, am I glad I did. Thank you all.
Everyone see the picture? I have a request. In 1982, I was one of the founding members of the Friends of the Chapel in 82. We are still operating. Hopefully we can talk about it a little bit more and you all can join from wherever you are. I currently head an archives committee where we're trying to document the impact of the chapel on the lives of people who played a role in the chapel. A while back, we interviewed Ollie and Joe Jackson and Richard and Butch Braun, and they gave testimony as to the origin of the choir and all that it did and it accomplished and how it was influenced by the chapel, including the role of Dean Crawford. What I'd like to do today, hopefully, is at least take a group picture of this group so it can become a part of the archives committee work. And this will be housed in Moreland Spin Garden, probably the Library of Congress, for future, current as well as future generations to enjoy. Would that be possible?
Certainly.
What about this recording? Have you recorded?
Jeff is
Oh.
the photographer.
Oh, the photographer. That would really be wonderful if we could do that, and I assure you, it would be passed on. And the recording, if that's possible.
I turned it off when it went bad. When it went bad.
So whenever, we can do it, I'd like to do that. Okay, the 69 picture, that's already a part of the archives. I took it, and during my interview, I presented it, so it's already a part of the archives, and we're still working on archiving materials. It's an ongoing thing, but we are going to be including many things with the Moreland Spingarn collection, as well as probably the Library of Congress.
Do you have a program that we had history in for the anniversary in April?
No.
Did you see it? Cause
Yeah, I was there.
right, but the
But you
program
see
didn't
history.
get handed out at the very beginning. So
No,
some people never
I
saw
didn't even get one.
it. It was on a 11 by 18 folder.
I don't remember it. I stayed till the end. I took the group.
They
I
didn't come out
said-
till
I-
almost the end.
Yeah,
They came,
It came out late.
at the end of the.
they passed it out later.
So I
I'm
have
saying
one.
I was there even when we took the picture on the stage. Was it?
Yeah, I wasn't there by then.
They were out in the field at that point. So people that were already inside, unless you happened to look around when you went out, you would just see it. I do have one at home.
Okay, that would be good. If I can get that, I'll give you my card.
Gwen and I wrote it.
I'll give you my
Or
card.
we can get it.
Okay.
Now that y'all changed the spirit, after Bishop preached so well, I just want to take a stab to that because, y'all do the camera thing. Okay, I just want to say this because I don't talk a lot and I wanted to listen to what you guys were saying because it's more pertinent. I did tell Mary and Sister Robinson and Richard's speech because I would not be in music if it wasn't for him and Tawaka and dragging me, telling me, you shouldn't be in architecture. First thing I did was join the Howard Gospel Choir when I first got to campus because I came in July and August. I had really good grades. I wasn't supposed to come here. I was supposed to go to Yale. But I couldn't stand to go to not one more school where the Americans tell you you're the minority. And this has shaped who I am as a person. And I don't mean career-wise, I mean character. Because like Ross said, you experience, if you've been cloistered and you experience. I wanted to see where the black people were that flourished and looked like me and did things of importance that made a difference in people's lives, not just in the world, but in the world through people's lives and through the gospel choir. We had started the first gospel choir, my cousins and I, at our high school, and that was 1968. So I knew what your dates were, 68, 69, something like that. And that wasn't allowed, and we were at an all-white school. So that was breaking a lot of tradition. And I had no idea I was going to come to Howard. My mom brought me to visit in 69, and you guys were holding down, you were holding your little, I almost said seance, but I meant you were doing your sit-in. Amen. And my mother told me, if you ever do that, do you know who you are? You better not ever be put in jail and holding the people hostage. And sure enough, I wound up here and had a big old afro, and I pressed it out when she came to campus. But it shaped my life. I have life friends here. I have a life church here. I have people that I've known since I was 17 years old, including you guys that I didn't know in 69 because I wasn't here. I was here in 72. But you guys have become my friends too because Richard was still doing the Celestials. Tawatha was a year ahead of me and she was fussing at me. You shouldn't be in architecture. So I stayed 3 years, but because of your diligence and your precision in what you were trying to attain, it made me want to attain greatness too. So I did my 4 years in 2 years because I went to summer school. I was trying to follow them. I didn't think I was worthy enough to sing or do music. I never thought I was. Because
What?
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
okay,
Stevie Wonder could have seen that.
Johnny Hathaway, Roberta Flack, just name the names. Him, Henry, I mean, Jesse Norman. And I had Mr. Dorsey, and he was like, I don't want you singing that gospel music, Doc. And I was like, I came from church, bruh. I'm gonna have to sing gospel music. Well, you better not be hoarse. I could do gospel and I could do opera. It has enhanced how I wrote. It enhanced my exposure because of the chord changes. I could hear different chord changes. It's turned me into who I am as a person, not the entertainer. Please separate that. The ministry, it enhanced my ministry. Reverend Wilson and Lulu, they were before their time. You know, things have evolved where it may be different now. I don't know, because, you know, I was a little apostolic PAW girl coming to a church. My whole family flew in to see if it was all right. And until they checked them out, because, you know, there's apostolic, you know, apostolic. But because of the Holy Ghost doesn't have a denomination.
All right now, say that.
Christ never had a denomination. He just had a nation. And my family was a forward-thinking type family because they weren't locked, even though they were the founders of the apostolic, some of the PAW things, and I come from a long line of things. They saw what they needed to see to say, that's okay. And you can hang with them. Now, they didn't know their infractions because I didn't tell that part. But like Roz was saying, they protected me. If you guys hadn't protected me, now y'all did what y'all did, and amen. But it was never judged. And then I learned how to not look, I looked through a different lens. I started seeing people through the lens of Christ too, in a different manner. So it opened up the eyes of my understanding. And it's enhanced my ministry because I can minister through a secular, even though my family wanted me to go gospel and stay with Richard. You know, they adored him, so he could do no wrong. I haven't told them they could. But it is enhanced who I am, and it's expanded my horizons where I can minister to both people. I can be in a secular show and still draw and have a prayer line after my show. Because there was no judging at Union Temple, and I didn't have to wear a long skirt and go to hell, even though my folks didn't preach that. Apostolic way did. If we didn't come in a skirt or, you know, we couldn't do this. We had, But I learned and I gleaned, and Reverend Wilson was ahead of his time in teaching his principles, and he had opened up a 17-year-old's mind. Now, I don't know what we're doing now, but I'll tell you this. It's made people that I talk to go back to church who never went to church or stopped going to church. We are life changers, and life changers come from all denominations, all colors and creed. But it made me realize I'm a queen.
All right now.
And it gave me confidence, and I found my voice with you guys, where I didn't have that confident voice, not in music. Now, I can design the heck out of anything, and I can build anything. But I had no idea I would be writing songs for money, singing for money, or playing for money, because I never felt worthy. You've made me feel worthy at a time that I needed it, and I thank you.
Thank you, buddy. I have to say, some of you saw my son here earlier. I think he was the first gospel choir because his dad and, well, they don't know about because his dad was in gospel choir. He came way after because my
son was born in 75. So literally, he would not be here were it not for Howard. And something that Roz said about not being condemned. I've been a single parent as long as I've been a parent. Both of my kids have different dads. But the first experience with my son, whose dad was in gospel choir, everybody did this to me. Not this. That means a lot to a single mother. That means a lot to someone who had never been around any black people in her life except in church. When I came to Howard, talking about being in a totally different environment. But the fact that what happened to me as a single parent was not shunned by the group that helped generate it in the first place. But what Roz was talking about in terms of there not being condemnation, that support that I got from everybody in the choir made a difference. It helped me to be able to stand up and to be proud of my son. To be able to bring him back here to see folk that he hadn't seen in years. Johari is his godmother. Rose Thornton, who's in Las Vegas, who was in the choir, that's his other godmother. Timothy James he's Timothy James's namesake. Tim's in Texas. So he is literally a gospel choir baby. And I was able to be proud to bring him back here to see his family. And that means a lot. That means a lot. There aren't even any words for that. Because it's hard. It's hard to stand by yourself and hold your head up, knowing what's coming and feeling unprepared. But when you've got arms that are doing this, it makes the world a difference. So thank you all.
I know we've been here for a bit, and I know we're kind of like, getting late and stuff. I just really needed to say this, that love and friendship are two of the most abused words in the English language. People roll up on you and tell you about how much they love you, but you can't find them when you need them. And people say, I'm your friend, I'm your BFF, but when you need them, they're not available. And so when you find authentic friendship with people, and it's been said numerous times around the table, non-judgmental, and people who will encourage you, people who accept, people who will just journey with you, cry with you, laugh with you, sit on the floor in anxiety or depression with you. That's authenticity. And that's hard to find, but I found that at Howard University on that campus. And so as we, share, and here we are 50 plus years later, and we can go around the room and we can talk about all of the intersection and lives that we've had with one another. We've laughed together, we've cried together, we have felt out and cussed each other out, and then we have reconciled together, and we have been there. Gail and Rosalind and myself, we lost our mothers 2 and 3 months apart in 2018, and we were there for each other. When Angela lost her mother, me and Buddy and Ollie flew somewhere in St. Louis to be with. We have journeyed together. Some of us are a bit closer than others, but when I talk about authenticity, you just don't find that run of the mill. And so God has blessed us, and we have watched, all of us over the years, watch God move us and begin to stretch us. And as crazy acting as we was on that campus, he had the nerve to start using some of us. You know what I'm saying? And so God has just night long. And I come to Richard's house and we have so much fun and we laugh and we build each other up and we support one another in the midst of all of the ministries that have evolved out of this choir is absolutely mind-boggling, but for the sovereignty of God. So I just want to say, I'm glad to be in the number one more time. And I just thank you, and I love all of you guys, and I just hope we continue, because I realize we're not going to be able to get another 50 years to do this, right? I mean, we're real clear on that. Because all of y'all are really old, and so we're really everybody has a gift. God has anointed and ordained all of us in our different areas. They laugh and tease me, from what I used to be and do on campus, back in the day. And Richard just like, SMA shaking my head because God made you a pastor and you were the worst thing on the campus. That's how God is. He will pick you up and he will pick you up and then have the nerve to use you. I'm just glad to be here, and I'm going to end with this because this was really touch and go. My close friends knew a week ago yesterday, I had breast cancer surgery. They found what they say something, but I began to talk to the Lord. They found a shadow in my breast, and I started saying, okay, God, look here. You know what? I'm on assignment. You put me on assignment. I didn't ask to come to North Carolina. I didn't ask for these churches and stuff. And you said that you watch over your word to perform it. And then you said, give me my word back. So I began to say, I shall live and not die to proclaim the works of the Lord. And then you said you came that I would have life and that more abundantly. And then I just finished living with dementia and taking care of my mother for years until she went to glory. You said, God, that honor your mother and your father, that you gave. So I said, God, I ain't got no time for no cancer. You need to heal this, and you need to go ahead and confound the doctors. So, okay, I go in there, they see a little something, it's a shadow. The surgeon said, I can't even call this a lumpectomy, because that's the clinical name. He said, you ain't got no lump, there's no mass, there's no tumor. He said, so what I'm going to do is cut the bad stuff out. And he did that a week ago, yesterday. I didn't even know if I was going to make this trip. But even before I got on the plane, the surgeon said, you can travel. You can't drive, but you can travel. But then we were waiting for that path report. The pathology report came back and it said, no cancer in the lymph nodes, none in the nose, clear margins in all the surrounding tissues. I'm glad the Lord for his glory and when we can come together and share among our friends what God is still doing in our lives. Not what he used to do and what he did before, but what he's still working on the building. God bless the Lord. I love all of you. I'm just glad to be in the land of the living.
Great testimony. Cancer survivor here, for real. Cancer survivor. Not supposed to be alive. Twice. Yes.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
They said I'd never sing again.
Yes. Yes, me too.
Singing ever since.
Why need to be afraid? Testimony.
Me too. Told me I wouldn't sing again. I said, well, I studied architecture, so it doesn't really matter. Because that's what I really know how to do. And so the Lord said, you are going to sing again, and that's what I'm doing. There's another doctor. That's who I consult.
Well, I just like to say this finalization. I don't think I'm not trying to get anybody else on. But I want to say to Richard that I'm just glad that I want you to know that, and we've told you this before, that we love you for who you are.
Right.
Not for who you are to the world.
Right.
And the times that I know and others do of your personal struggles with depression, especially after your mom died and everything, I didn't know how to express to you how much we love you. That we don't love you because you're the known Richard Smallwood. But you know, I fell in love with you when we first met. We were just like that. Because it's just something about you, Richard, as a person that your mother raised, that you inherited from her aunt, who she was, the marvelous lady that she was. And she nurtured a marvelous son. And I brag on you all the time. Richard is the only person that I know who's not stuck up.
Right.
I see that he's in the field, to have the fame that he has. Look at all those trophies. I don't know if everybody's been in his trophy room, but it's just amazing to see this man so humble, so down to earth, just another person. So I just want to tell you from all of us, and I know they all feel the same way. We love you, Richard Smallwood, Richard Buddy Smallwood.
And just to sort of piggyback on that, and I was thinking before I say this, we were some crazy folks. You know, because I've been to the African American Museum of History several times, and I, looked at the racism, history that has happened. I was like, wait a minute. That was when we was in the gospel choir. And some of the things that we experienced, like the guy putting the gun on Henry. And I don't know if y'all remember after the guy pulled the gun on Henry, people who were there, we asked to see the manager of the hotel, and they told us no. So we had a sit-in outside. I got a picture on my phone of us sitting me, you right in the middle of it. Sitting in the hallway saying, we're going to sing all night long and protest until somebody does it. They didn't put us out. God took care of us. All of that stuff going down south and all the kind of stuff that could have been another way. But God took care, and we didn't have sense enough to be scared. That's radical. Radical. You took our building, so we'll take over yours too.
But we pulled strength from each other.
We did. We did. So, but to piggyback, a lot of you know, is that I've written a book, and it's my life story, my autobiography. It'll be out the end of this month. You can pre-order now. You can go to www.godzchild.com and pre-order. Everybody who pre-orders will get an autographed copy, but it really, I started to just write about music. And the more I tried to stay there, the more God pulled me out. And as Rosalind alluded to, I have spent the majority of my life dealing with depression, even as a child, and anxiety. Nobody knew what that was in the 50s, not in the black culture.
Yeah.
And God let me last. I mean, there were a couple of times that I came near taking my life, but God kept me through that. And what He did, He put me on a platform where I could speak to others about mental health. Because I think it's so important, because the church looks the other way. They say you tarry 5 hours before the altar and you get up and you'll be all right. Well, if you have high blood pressure, if you've got cancer, if you got whatever, you go to a doctor. It's the same thing with you have to take care of your mental health as well as your physical health. So it just sort of put me on a kind of tour, if you will, where I'm going around really talking about that. So it's funny what God does. But I talk in my book, I talk about the beginnings of the gospel choir, because I've heard so many wrong things from the time when it started, which was the wrong date. I said, let me write a book since I was there and talk about what happened. I talk about when the gun was pulled on Henry, and all some of the experiences we had, some of the funny things that happened, So I'm really excited about it. It took 5 years for me to write it. I pulled back from it a number of times and said, I don't want to do this, I don't want to say this, I don't want folks to know. But God never sends you anywhere without first equipping you. And there's purpose in everything you go through. So please pre-order if you haven't. I'm going to be doing actually a book signing, and I don't know the date yet, but I'm going to be doing one in Ira Aldridge for Howard. I'll be doing some around the area as well, some more around the area. So pray for me in that endeavor. It's my first time being an author, but I think my life has been so that God can use it in terms of encouraging other people. Because if you can't encourage nobody else, you need to go somewhere and sit down. Our purpose here is not for us or what kind of gifts we have, but our purpose here is to take the gifts that God has given us and encourage others and make a difference in other people's lives. So that's been my prayer. I didn't always know that, but as I began to live and go through things, I understood you're not here just by accident.
Right.
Your playing, your singing, your writing is not by accident. You're here to make a difference. And if you can't make a difference, sit down. Right. It's just as simple as that. So pray for me as I go through this new endeavor. Also pray for me as I'm going into surgery on Monday morning. Because of all things, I have some problems with my right hand. And I haven't been able to play like I wanted to. So they're going to fix that. And I may be out for 6 to 8 weeks before I can play again. But I'm going to come back playing.
Where's Joe Jackson? He coming?
There's Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson over here. Let's stand and pray for Richard's healing with his hands. Everybody that can stand. Don't forget. Richard Jackson, touch somebody.
Maybe we need to start with a song. Somebody.
Somebody help Charlie.
We need you, Lord. I need you. Every hour I need you. Oh, rest me now, my Savior.
Lord, we ask right now in the name of Jesus that You gave him this gift. Now, God, we ask you to touch him from the crown of his head to the sole of his head. When he goes into the room, God, let the doctors be endowed with supernatural power to do what has to be done. But even before he goes, you can speak a word. And you can send the healing before he goes. Whatever way you do it, just do it, God. For you said, I am the Lord thy God, the healer thee of all of our conditions. God, I ask you now to bless him now in a special way. He's lived for you, he's worked for you, he's served you. Now we need you to prove yourself to him. Do it, God, in a special way. In the name of Jesus. Send your help from heaven. Send your help from heaven. Say Shabbat. God, my Father, do it now. Save the blood against you. I release the blood against you in the name of Jesus. Oh, God, from the fingertips to whatever part. Heal now in the name of Jesus. Do it now, God. In Jesus' name we pray and we thank you for the healing. We thank you for the answer already. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
In the name of Jesus, we pray for this book that is about to come out. We know that you laid this on Richard's heart because he has walked this road, God. He's in a position to encourage so many others, God. And let them know that you are their help, oh God. Because you have carried him through, you will carry others through. So God, we pray that this book will go around the world, God. And it will be an encouragement to every soul that reads it. In the name of Jesus. And we'll give you the glory. We'll give you the honor and the praise. Open new doors for him, God. Not just on the music platform, God, but on the author platform, Father. That he may be exposed even more to people who may not follow gospel music, but to those who need help in the clinical field. So God, we praise you, we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Taking pictures, man.
One more thing, I just want to thank my dear friend Gail. Gail is a party planner of life. I just thank her for all the help that she did, and
Coordinating.
and all that stuff. I can't hardly remember my name. She got named that joined the choir in 1969. Sang out on the back soprano. And for Davida for helping her and everybody. We love you.
Can we sing that song we sang on the bus, please?
Just a bowl of
You gotta get that picture for me.